2017 has seen Ubisoft cross over its Rabbids franchise with Nintendo's Super Mario in a Nintendo Switch exclusive. It's not the first time a video game series has crossed over with another. There's Marvel vs. Capcom, Street Fighter and Tekken, and those gratuitous Mortal Kombat cameos in Injustice Gods Among Us.
You cannot harm me!
Apparently I can.
There are many video game franchises that could open themselves for a crossover. Looking at current releases, these are the 3 crossovers I'd love to see. Some of these theories may contain spoilers for the mentioned games. The 4th installment of the Uncharted and Assassin's Creed series, even though take out the fact that AC4 was actually the 5th game in the Assassin's Creed series, it brought a pirate theme to both franchises. Nathan Drake sets out on an adventure to uncover a lost pirate treasure in the hidden pirate utopia of Libertalia.
What do you see? Libertalia. Libertalia!
While in Black Flag, pirate captain Edward Kenway infiltrates the Templar Order in seek of fortune.
You were expected 1 week ago.
Apologies, Governor. My ship was set upon by pirates. We were scuttled. I arrived only yesterday.
He eventually establishes a pirate utopia of his own on the island of Great Inagua. All the while, he discovered a hidden observatory that within held the most valuable artifacts in the world.
You see? Sorcery, that's what it is.
What we have here is a scenario where Drake is on the verge of discovering Kenway's secret utopia, where the artifact has been stashed away out of the prying hands of his fellow pirate captains. However, Edward Thatch, aka Blackbeard, discovered Kenway's secret and blackmailed him into sharing his fortune, in return not declaring a mutiny on Kenway but the remaining pirate captains.
It's them. Elena, these are the pirate captains that founded Libertalia.
Meanwhile, in present day, the Shoreline Mercenaries are the equivalent of the Abstergo Corporation from the original AC timeline. So after Shoreline discovers that the artifact has been retrieved by Drake, that is where the original AC protagonist Desmond Miles arrives to steal the artifact from under the nose of both Drake and Shoreline, as Drake and Rafe finally end their conflict.
That wasn't so bad.
Superhero games these days seem to be set in their own locked, designated universe. Nowhere is this more prevalent than in Rocksteady's Batman Arkham series and the infamous universe created by Sucker Punch. The existence of superpowered beings in DC Comics lore, however, such as The Flash, Green Lantern and Superman, means that Delsin Rowe from infamous Second Son would feel right at home in this universe. From the original Infamous games, the conduits gain their powers via a rare mutation, which could be activated naturally or by being in the proximity of the Ray Sphere. The sphere harvests neuroelectric energy from living human beings and concentrates it onto the conduits, which then in turn unlocks their dormant powers. Unfortunately, it also happens to cause a massive explosion, killing all the harvested beings in the process. So with his limitless resources, Bruce Wayne manages to retrieve the sphere and lock it away so it cannot harvest any more lives. Meanwhile, in Seattle, Delsin's powers are beginning to weaken and needs to retrieve the sphere to recharge his abilities. On his search for the sphere, however, he finds himself in Gotham City and encounters, well, a pretty pissed off Batman. His rampage ends in him being captured and imprisoned aboard the Iron Heights flying prison. Delsin eventually escapes and sets free Killer Croc, who has now been enforced with heightened strength and has grown substantially thanks to Delsin's power share.
With it, you got no idea.
Delsin disappears into Gotham and Batman needs to track him down. This crossover could cover a few different games, which in the end leads to a very, let's say, climactic showdown. In terms of mythically inspired worlds, the setting of Tamriel in the Elder Scrolls Skyrim and Mordor in the, well, Shadow of Mordor are constantly in conflict. Tamriel is in the clutches of a civil war and under the threat from a truly terrifying dragon named Alduin, who is hell-bent on the destruction of the world. Not that it's much brighter in Mordor, with Sauron the Dark Lord ruling over the region with his army of orcs. In the main ending to Shadow of Mordor, protagonist Talion manages to defeat the Black Hand, a physical form of Sauron himself. What I'm suggesting is an alternative ending where Talion fails to defeat Sauron and is forced to flee Mordor. With Sauron's forces in pursuit, Talion, naturally, ends up in Tamriel, hoping to defeat Sauron's forces with the help of Alduin. Alduin refuses to help Talion initially, unless he helps him conquer Tamriel by slaying the leaders of the warring factions. So Talion sets out to kill the leaders of the factions and actually ends up uniting them. Before Alduin is made aware of Talion's betrayal, Sauron's forces arrive, meaning that the dragon and the factions have to band together to defeat the forces of the Dark Lord. However, Talion now has the problem of one very pissed off dragon whom he has betrayed, but with the forces of the factions at his side, he is able to slay Alduin. He then returns to Mordor with his new army, hoping to defeat Sauron once and for all. And cue the sequel!
I'm coming for you.
So those were the 3 main video game crossovers that I would love to see. Theories? Bit outlandish? Do you have a video game crossover that you would love to see? Which 2 franchises do you think could come together to form a really epic collaboration? Well, let me know in the comments below, and I'll see all you guys in the next video.